Welcome, dear listeners, to this peaceful journey through the fascinating story of social media. As you settle into comfort, let your mind drift along with the gentle narrative of how human connection evolved in the digital age. This is a story of innovation, creativity, and the endless human desire to share and connect with one another across the vast distances that once seemed impossible to bridge. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to relax as we explore this remarkable chapter of modern history together. The soft glow of progress illuminates our path through decades of technological wonder, where each development brought people closer together across continents and cultures. Tonight, we'll travel through time at a gentle pace, discovering how the simple human need to communicate blossomed into the rich digital ecosystem we know today. Imagine, if you will, a world where sending a message to someone on the other side of the planet took weeks rather than seconds. Picture libraries filled with card catalogs instead of search engines, and photo albums made of paper instead of pixels. This was the world that existed before social media, a world where connection required patience and physical presence held the monopoly on meaningful interaction. The transformation from this analog world to our current digital landscape didn't happen overnight. It unfolded like the changing seasons, each innovation building upon the last, creating layers of possibility that previous generations could never have imagined. As we embark on this journey together, let the rhythm of progress lull you into a peaceful state of mind, where learning becomes as natural as breathing. Close your eyes if you wish, and let the gentle cadence of this story carry you through the decades of human ingenuity and connection. We'll visit quiet computer laboratories where brilliant minds worked late into the night, college dormitories where revolutionary ideas were born, and living rooms where families first discovered the joy of instant global communication. Long before the familiar blue glow of Facebook or the distinctive chirp of Twitter notifications, the seeds of social media were quietly taking root in the fertile ground of early computer networks. In the peaceful decades of the 1960s and 1970s, when the world moved at a gentler pace and technology hummed quietly in research laboratories, brilliant minds were already dreaming of ways to connect people through the emerging magic of computers. The story begins with something beautifully simple called ARPANET, created in 1969 by the Advanced Research Projects Agency. Like the first gentle raindrops that eventually become a flowing river, ARPANET connected just for computers across American universities, UCLA, Stanford, UC Santa Barbara, and the University of Utah. The researchers who sent those first messages could never have imagined that their quiet experiment would eventually blossom into the vast network that connects billions of people today. Picture those early computer labs, filled with the warm glow of cathode ray tube monitors and the gentle clicking of early keyboards. The rooms were often windowless sanctuaries where time seemed suspended, and the only sounds were the whirring of cooling fans and the occasional burst of excitement when a message successfully transmitted across the network. The researchers working late into the night were driven by curiosity and the exciting possibility of instant communication across vast distances. Their dedication to this vision of connection would lay the foundation for everything that followed. The first successful ARPANET message was sent on October 29, 1969, from UCLA to Stanford. The intended message was simply log in, but the system crashed after only the letters LO had been transmitted. Even this partial failure was celebrated as a breakthrough, proof that computers could communicate across distances. The researchers noted the time and details of this first transmission in their logbooks with the same care that astronomers might record the discovery of a new star. In those early days, communication was wonderfully straightforward and deliberate. Messages traveled slowly and thoughtfully, much like handwritten letters, but with the promise of something revolutionary. The first email was sent in 1971 by Ray Tomlinson, a moment as significant as Alexander Graham Bell's first telephone call, yet it happened in peaceful laboratories without fanfare or celebration. Tomlinson chose the @ symbol to separate the user's name from their location, a decision that would become one of the most recognizable symbols in digital communication. Ray Tomlinson's innovation was elegantly simple. He combined local messaging programs with file transfer protocols to create a system where users on different computers could send messages to each other. He tested the system by sending messages between two computers sitting side by side in his office at Bolt, Beranek and Newman in Cambridge, Massachusetts. The first email message was likely something mundane like QWERTY, a test string rather than profound words that would echo through history. The concept of electronic mail revolutionized how people thought about communication. No longer were messages bound by the physical constraints of paper and postal systems. Information could flow like water, finding its way through networks of cables and wireless signals to reach its destination almost instantaneously. This fundamental shift in how we share information would become the cornerstone of all future social media development. As the 1970s unfolded like pages in a well-loved book, bulletin board systems began to emerge across the country. These early digital gathering places, known affectionately as BBSs, were cozy virtual spaces where people could leave messages for each other, share files, and engage in thoughtful discussions. The gentle hum of dial-up modems became the lullaby of early digital communication, connecting like-minded individuals who shared interests in everything from computer programming to gardening, amateur radio to science fiction. Ward Christensen and Randy Suess created the first BBS in Chicago in February 1978, motivated by a desire to continue conversations that began at their computer club meetings. A massive blizzard had prevented the usual in-person gathering, inspiring them to create a system that would allow club members to communicate even when they couldn't meet face-to-face. Their system, called CBBS, Computerized Bulletin Board System, allowed multiple users to call in through telephone lines, leave messages, and download files. The BBS culture that developed was characterized by mutual help, shared knowledge, and a pioneering spirit that would influence Internet culture for decades to come. System operators, known as sysops, became the first generation of online community managers, fostering environments where civil discourse and helpful exchange could flourish. They established the first codes of online conduct and created the templates for digital community building that we still use today. These early BBSs were often run from people's homes, with dedicated phone lines and computers that stayed on 24 hours a day. The sysops were volunteers who maintained these systems out of passion for technology and community building. They would wake up in the middle of the night to restart crashed systems, answer questions from confused new users, and moderate discussions that occasionally became heated. The experience of calling a BBS was ritualistic and anticipatory. Users would dial the number, listen to the screech and static of the modem handshake, and then wait as the welcome screen slowly appeared character by character. Popular boards were often busy, requiring users to try calling multiple times before connecting. This scarcity made successful connections feel precious and worthwhile. BBS communities developed their own cultures, inside jokes, and social hierarchies. Regular users became known quantities within their local digital communities, building reputations based on their helpfulness, knowledge, and personality. Some BBSs organized real-world meetups where online friends could meet face-to-face, creating hybrid communities that existed both online and offline. The Whole Earth Electronic Link, or WELL, appeared in 1985 like a warm lighthouse in the digital night. Created in Sausalito, California, by Stuart Brand and Larry Brilliant, this virtual community became home to writers, artists, journalists, and thinkers who gathered to share ideas in an atmosphere of mutual respect and intellectual curiosity. The WELL demonstrated that online communities could foster deep, meaningful relationships that transcended geographical boundaries and created lasting friendships. Stuart Brand, founder of the Whole Earth Catalog, envisioned the WELL as a continuation of the counterculture movement's emphasis on tools, community, and shared knowledge. The platform attracted members of the Grateful Dead community, tech industry pioneers, journalists, and academics who were drawn to its freewheeling but respectful atmosphere. The WELL slogan, "You own your own words," established a principle of personal responsibility that encouraged thoughtful participation. The WELL's conferences were organized around topics ranging from parenting and spirituality to technology and current events. Users developed strong emotional connections to their online communities, often meeting in person and forming friendships that lasted decades. The platform's emphasis on authentic identity, users were encouraged to use their real names, created a level of accountability and trust that set it apart from more anonymous online spaces. Members of the WELL often spoke of it as a place where they could have conversations that were impossible to have anywhere else. The asynchronous nature of the platform allowed for thoughtful, reflective discussions where ideas could develop over days or weeks. Conversations would meander through topics, with participants building on each other's ideas in ways that created collective intelligence and understanding. The WELL became legendary for its coverage of major news events, where members would share first-hand accounts, analysis, and emotional support during crises. During the 1989 San Francisco earthquake, WELL members provided real-time updates and checked on each other's safety, demonstrating how online communities could provide genuine care and support during difficult times. Famous members included Grateful Dead lyricist John Perry Barlow, who would later write the influential Declaration of the Independence of Cyberspace, and technology journalist Howard Reingold, who documented the early days of virtual communities. These intellectual leaders helped establish the WELL's reputation as a place where serious conversations about technology, society, and culture could flourish. Usenet, launching in 1980, created a peaceful network of discussion groups where people could gather around shared interests. Like quiet reading circles in libraries around the world, these newsgroups brought together enthusiasts of science, literature, hobbies, and countless other topics. The conversations flowed at a contemplative pace, allowing for thoughtful responses and careful consideration of different viewpoints. The Usenet system was elegantly decentralized, with no single point of control or failure. Messages propagated across the network like ripples in a pond, eventually reaching every connected system. This distribution model created a robust, censorship-resistant communication network that could continue operating even if individual nodes went offline. The architecture reflected the Internet's original design principles of redundancy and resilience. Newsgroups covered an astounding range of topics, from highly technical discussions about computer programming to passionate debates about literature, music, and philosophy. The naming convention, with hierarchies like comp* for computer topics, recording * for recreational activities, SCI* for scientific discussions, and alt* for alternative topics, created an organized structure that helped users find their communities of interest. The culture that developed on Usenet emphasized expertise and thoughtful contribution. Newcomers were encouraged to read FAQ documents and observe conversations before participating. This approach created communities where knowledge was shared freely and where newcomers could learn from experienced members. The Usenet tradition of citing sources and providing detailed explanations would later influence academic and professional online communities. Usenet introduced concepts that would become central to online culture, including the idea of netiquette, proper behavior in online spaces, and the tradition of kill files, which allowed users to filter out messages from people whose contributions they found unhelpful. These self-governing mechanisms demonstrated how online communities could maintain order and quality without centralized authority. The platform's alt* hierarchy, established in the late 1980s, became a space for more experimental and controversial discussions. Groups like alt, folklore, urban became repositories of cultural knowledge, while others explored topics that traditional media outlets couldn't or wouldn't cover. This freedom of expression and topic exploration would influence the development of later social media platforms. The 1990s arrived with the gentle promise of the World Wide Web, Tim Berners-Lee's revolutionary gift to humanity that would transform how we share information and connect with one another. At CERN, the European Particle Physics Laboratory nestled in the peaceful Swiss countryside near Geneva, Berners-Lee quietly revolutionized human communication with his elegant vision of interconnected documents that anyone could access and contribute to. Tim Berners-Lee's motivation was beautifully simple. He wanted to create a system where information could be shared seamlessly among researchers working on different projects across different institutions and countries. His vision of a web of interconnected documents would solve the problem of information silos that plagued research institutions around the world. The World Wide Web wasn't conceived as a commercial venture or a social platform, but as a tool for human knowledge sharing and collaboration. Working in his office overlooking the peaceful Swiss landscape, Berners-Lee developed the fundamental technologies that would power the web: HTML for creating documents, HTTP for transferring them, URLs for addressing them, and the first web browser for viewing them. He called his browser World Wide Web and later renamed it Nexus to avoid confusion with the web itself. The elegant simplicity of these technologies made them accessible to programmers and content creators around the world. The first website went live on August 6, 1991, a simple page explaining what the World Wide Web was and how to use it. Like the first flower of spring, it marked the beginning of an extraordinary bloom of human creativity and connection. The site, hosted at info.cern.ch, contained basic instructions for accessing the web and creating web pages, democratizing the process of publishing information online. This first website was refreshingly modest and utilitarian. It didn't have flashy graphics or complex layouts, just plain text with hyperlinks that connected to other pages explaining web concepts and technologies. The site's simplicity reflected Berners-Lee's belief that content should be more important than presentation, and that the web should be accessible to everyone regardless of their technical expertise or the sophistication of their equipment. As more websites appeared throughout the early 1990s, each one added another thread to the growing tapestry of digital human expression. Universities began creating departmental websites to share research and course information. Libraries created online catalogs that could be searched from anywhere in the world. Museums began digitizing their collections and making them available to global audiences. Government agencies published public information and forms online, making civic engagement more accessible and efficient. The introduction of the Mosaic web browser in 1993 made the World Wide Web accessible to people without technical expertise. Developed at the National Center for Supercomputing Applications by Mark Andreessen and Eric Bina, Mosaic was the first browser that could display images inline with text, creating a rich multimedia experience that felt magical to early users. For the first time, users could see images alongside text and navigate between pages with simple point-and-click actions. This graphical interface opened the web to millions of people who had been intimidated by text-based internet tools. Mosaic's intuitive design made the web feel approachable and user-friendly, transforming it from a tool for computer scientists into a medium for mass communication. Mosaic's creators understood that the future of digital communication lay in making technology invisible to users. Their browser's intuitive interface allowed people to focus on content rather than technical details. This philosophy of user-friendly design would become central to all successful social media platforms. The browser's success led to the founding of Netscape Communications, which would play a crucial role in popularizing the web throughout the 1990s. The web's growth during the mid-1990s was exponential and organic. Unlike centrally planned communication systems, the web grew through the independent actions of millions of individuals and organizations who created websites, linked to each other's content, and shared information freely. This decentralized growth created a resilient and diverse information ecosystem that reflected the full spectrum of human knowledge and creativity. Early websites had a distinctive aesthetic that reflected their creators' enthusiasm for the new medium. Pages often featured colorful backgrounds, animated GIFs, and experimental layouts as designers explored the possibilities of HTML and CSS. The famous under-construction animated GIF became a symbol of the web's constant evolution and the ongoing process of learning how to communicate effectively in digital spaces. GeoCities emerged in 1994, offering everyone the opportunity to create their own corner of the internet for free. These early personal websites were like digital gardens where people cultivated their interests, shared their stories, and expressed their creativity. The neighborhoods of GeoCities, from the artistic Soho district to the technology-focused Silicon Valley area, recreated the warmth of physical communities in virtual space. The GeoCities model was revolutionary in its democratization of web publishing. Previously, creating a website required technical knowledge of HTML and CSS, as well as access to expensive web hosting services. GeoCities provided easy-to-use tools and free hosting, enabling millions of people to become web publishers without any technical expertise. The platform's neighborhood structure helped users discover others with similar interests, creating the first large-scale online communities organized around shared passions. Each GeoCities neighborhood had its own character and culture. The Hollywood district attracted entertainment enthusiasts who created fan sites for their favorite movies and celebrities. Area 51 became home to science fiction fans and UFO believers who shared theories and fictional stories. Wall Street drew discussions about business and finance, while the Heartland neighborhood fostered conversations about family values and community life. This geographic metaphor helped users understand how to navigate and organize online communities. The visual aesthetics of early GeoCities sites, with their animated GIFs, colorful backgrounds, and creative layouts, reflected the exuberant creativity of users who were publishing online for the first time. While these designs might seem primitive by today's standards, they represented a genuine expression of personal creativity and digital self-exploration. Users experimented with different fonts, colors, and graphics to create unique online identities that reflected their personalities and interests. GeoCities also introduced many users to the concept of web statistics, showing them how many people had visited their sites. This early form of social feedback encouraged users to create more engaging content and to promote their sites to friends and family. The excitement of seeing visitor counts increase became one of the first forms of social media engagement, creating a feedback loop that motivated continued content creation. America Online, or AOL, became a comfortable gateway to the Internet for millions of people throughout the 1990s. Its chat rooms and instant messaging service brought the gentle pleasure of real-time conversation to homes across America. The friendly "You've got mail" greeting, voiced by Elwood Edwards in his home studio in Ohio, became a daily moment of joy for subscribers, connecting friends and families across distances that once seemed insurmountable. AOL's success lay in making the Internet accessible to non-technical users. The service provided a curated experience that shielded users from the complexity of the broader Internet while still providing access to email, chat, and web browsing. This approach attracted millions of subscribers who might otherwise have been intimidated by the technical requirements of Internet access. AOL software was distributed widely through CD-ROMs mailed to homes, making it easy for curious users to try the service. The AOL chat rooms became legendary gathering places where people from around the world could meet and converse in real time. Rooms were organized by interest, location, and demographic, allowing users to find communities that matched their specific needs and preferences. Popular rooms included spaces for different age groups, hobbies, geographic regions, and relationship statuses. Many lasting friendships and romantic relationships began in these digital spaces. The culture of AOL chat rooms was distinctive and influential. Users developed shorthand expressions and emoticons to communicate efficiently within the character limits of early chat systems. Phrases like BSL, age, sex, location, became common ways to begin conversations with strangers. The rooms had their own social dynamics, with regular users becoming known personalities within their preferred communities. AOL Instant Messenger, AIM, launched in 1997, revolutionized personal communication by allowing friends to see when each other were online and engage in private conversations. The away message feature became an early form of social status update, allowing users to share their current activities or mood with their friend list. AIM's buddy list was perhaps the first social network in the modern sense, creating persistent connections between friends in the digital realm. The platform's screen names became digital identities that users carefully crafted to represent their personalities and interests. The creative process of choosing a screen name was often a user's first experience with digital identity curation, a skill that would become essential in later social media platforms. Users would often change their screen names periodically to reflect their evolving interests or life circumstances. AIM's profile feature allowed users to share quotes, song lyrics, and personal information with their friends. These profiles became early forms of social media expression, where users could showcase their personality, interests, and current mood. Friends would often check each other's profiles to understand their emotional state or discover new music and ideas. In 1995, a platform called Classmates.com quietly opened its doors, created by Randy Conrads with the simple goal of helping people reconnect with old school friends. Like a peaceful reunion that never ended, it allowed alumni to find and connect with classmates from their past, sharing memories and catching up on the years that had passed since graduation. The platform was organized around schools and graduation years, making it easy for users to find people from their specific educational experiences. Classmates.com was revolutionary in its focus on real-world relationships and shared history. Unlike other early online communities that brought together strangers with similar interests, Classmates.com leveraged existing relationships and shared experiences. This approach created strong emotional connections to the platform and demonstrated the power of nostalgia in digital community building. The platform's business model, which charged fees for contacting other users, was controversial but sustainable. It proved that people would pay for meaningful connections with others from their past. This willingness to pay for social connections would influence the development of premium features on later social platforms. The platform's success demonstrated that there was genuine demand for services that helped people maintain and reconnect with relationships from their past. Users would spend hours browsing through lists of their former classmates, looking for familiar names and faces. The excitement of discovering that an old friend or crush was also using the service created moments of genuine joy and anticipation. Many users reported that reconnecting with old classmates through the platform led to renewed friendships and even romantic relationships. The late 1990s saw the emergence of instant messaging platforms that brought the immediacy of conversation to computer screens around the world. ICQ, launched in 1996 by the Israeli company Mirabilis, introduced the concept of a persistent online identity with its unique numerical user IDs. The platform's distinctive "oh" sound notification created millions of Pavlovian responses and connected strangers who became friends across continents. ICQ's interface was playful and user-friendly, with colorful flower icons that indicated users' online status. The platform's random chat feature allowed users to connect with others based on shared interests or simply by chance. This serendipitous approach to meeting people online created countless unexpected friendships and romantic connections that transcended geographical and cultural boundaries. The platform's user profile system allowed people to share detailed information about themselves, their interests, and their location, creating the foundation for modern social media profiles. Users could specify their hobbies, favorite music. ICQ's popularity outside the United States demonstrated the global appetite for digital communication tools. The platform became particularly popular in Europe, Russia, and other international markets, proving that the desire for online connection transcended cultural and linguistic boundaries. Users would often communicate across language barriers using translation software or simple phrases in each other's languages. These instant messaging platforms turned the Internet from a static repository of information into a living, breathing space where relationships could flourish in real time. The ability to see when friends were online and available for conversation created a sense of presence and availability that mimicked real-world social interactions. This synchronous communication would become an essential feature of all major social media platforms. The experience of using early instant messaging was characterized by anticipation and excitement. The sound of an incoming message would create a moment of curiosity. Who was trying to reach out? What did they want to talk about? This element of surprise and immediate connection made instant messaging feel more personal and engaging than email or other asynchronous forms of communication. As the calendar turned to the year 2000, the digital landscape was fertile ground ready for something new and revolutionary. The foundations had been carefully laid through decades of innovation, and now it was time for social media to truly blossom. The early 2000s brought us platforms that began to look and feel more like the social media we know today, each one adding new colors to the ever-expanding palette of human connection and digital community building. The dot-com boom and subsequent crash had taught valuable lessons about the importance of sustainable business models and genuine user value. The platforms that emerged in this new era were more thoughtfully designed, focusing on user experience and community building rather than purely speculative growth. Entrepreneurs and investors had learned that successful internet companies needed to solve real problems and create genuine value for their users. The technological infrastructure had also matured significantly by this time. Broadband internet connections were becoming more common, allowing for richer multimedia experiences. Digital cameras were becoming more affordable and widespread, making it easier for users to share visual content. Web browsers were more sophisticated and standardized, enabling developers to create more complex and interactive user interfaces. Friendster launched in 2002, created by Jonathan Abrams with the gentle ambition of helping people meet through mutual friends. The platform was inspired by academic research on social networks and the theory of 6 degrees of separation, which suggested that everyone in the world was connected by no more than 6 social relationships. Like a warm introduction at a friendly gathering, Friendster used the concept of social graphs to help people discover new connections through their existing network of friends. Jonathan Abrams had previously worked at Netscape and understood both the technical and social possibilities of the Internet. He envisioned Friendster as a solution to the problems of online dating, where people often misrepresented themselves or had no way to verify their identity or character. By connecting people through mutual friends, Friendster provided a layer of trust and accountability that was missing from other online meeting platforms. The platform's emphasis on real relationships and authentic connections would influence all future social networking sites. Users were encouraged to use their real names and authentic photos, creating profiles that genuinely represented who they were. This focus on authenticity was both refreshing and challenging, as it required users to be comfortable with presenting their true selves online. Friendster's early growth was explosive, particularly in Asia, where it gained millions of users who embraced the platform's focus on friendship and social connection. In the Philippines, Malaysia, and Singapore, Friendster became a cultural phenomenon that influenced how people thought about online relationships and digital identity. The platform introduced many features that would become standard in social media: user profiles, friend connections, testimonials, and photo sharing. The platform's testimonial feature allowed friends to write public recommendations for each other, creating a form of social validation that was visible to all visitors. These testimonials often became touching tributes to friendship and character, demonstrating the depth of relationships that could develop and be maintained through digital platforms. The testimonial system showed how online platforms could facilitate meaningful expressions of affection and respect. Though Friendster would eventually be overshadowed by other platforms in Western markets, it planted important seeds in the fertile ground of social networking. Its influence can be seen in virtually every social media platform that followed, from the concept of friend networks to the importance of user profiles and photo sharing. The platform's early success demonstrated that there was significant demand for services that helped people maintain and expand their social connections online. The platform's technical challenges during its rapid growth phase provided important lessons for future social media entrepreneurs. As user numbers exploded, Friendster's servers struggled to handle the load, leading to slow page loading times and frequent outages. These technical problems frustrated users and contributed to the platform's eventual decline in some markets. The experience highlighted the critical importance of scalable infrastructure in supporting social experiences. LinkedIn arrived in May 2003, bringing professional networking into the digital age with quiet dignity and purposeful design. Founded by Reid Hoffman, Alan Blue, Konstantin Gerich, Eric Lai, and Jean-Luc Vaillant, LinkedIn created a space where career connections could be maintained and nurtured over time, regardless of job changes or geographical relocations. Unlike the casual atmosphere of other early platforms, LinkedIn maintained a professional demeanor, like a well-organized business conference that never ended. Reid Hoffman, who had previously co-founded PayPal, understood both the technical possibilities of the Internet and the practical needs of business professionals. He recognized that professional relationships were often difficult to maintain over time, especially as people changed jobs and moved to different cities. LinkedIn would solve this problem by creating a persistent professional identity that could follow people throughout their careers. The platform's focus on professional relationships filled a genuine need in the business world. Before LinkedIn, maintaining professional contacts required careful management of business cards, contact databases, and periodic phone calls or emails. LinkedIn automated much of this process while providing additional value through job postings, company information, and industry insights. The platform made professional networking more systematic and less awkward than traditional methods. LinkedIn's recommendation feature brought the concept of professional references into the digital age. Colleagues could publicly validate each other's skills and work quality, creating a more transparent and interconnected professional world. This peer validation system helped establish trust and credibility in professional relationships that began online. The recommendation system also encouraged users to maintain positive professional relationships, knowing that their colleagues might be asked to vouch for their character and competence. The platform's measured approach to growth and monetization set it apart from other social networks. Rather than pursuing rapid user acquisition at any cost, LinkedIn focused on building value for its core user base of professionals. This strategy created a sustainable business model based on premium subscriptions, recruitment services, and advertising targeted at business audiences. The company's focus on providing genuine value to professionals ensured its long-term success and relevance. LinkedIn's company pages feature allowed businesses to maintain their own profiles on the platform, sharing news, job openings, and thought leadership content with their professional networks. This feature helped establish LinkedIn as a platform for business communication and brand building, not just individual networking. Companies began using LinkedIn to recruit talent, share industry insights, and build relationships with customers and partners. That same year, 2003, brought us MySpace, which would become the first social network to truly capture the imagination of young people around the world and achieve mainstream cultural relevance. Created by Tom Anderson and Chris DeWolf at eUniverse, MySpace felt like a digital bedroom where users could express their personality through highly customizable profiles, embedded music players, and creative design elements. Tom Anderson, who would become famous for being everyone's first friend on MySpace, understood the importance of music and self-expression in youth culture. His platform was designed to give users unprecedented control over their online presence, allowing them to customize everything from background colors and fonts to embedded music and photo layouts. This level of customization was revolutionary and appealing to users who wanted their online presence to reflect their unique personality and style. MySpace's greatest innovation was its embrace of user creativity and self-expression. Unlike other platforms that enforced rigid design templates, MySpace allowed users to customize their profiles with HTML and CSS, leading to an explosion of creative, if sometimes chaotic, personal pages. Users could choose custom backgrounds, colors, fonts, and layouts, making each profile a unique reflection of its owner's personality and aesthetic preferences. The platform's integration with the music industry was revolutionary and mutually beneficial. Musicians could create profile pages to showcase their music, connect with fans, and build audiences without the support of record labels. Fans could discover new artists through their friends' profiles and easily share music recommendations. This symbiotic relationship between social media and music would influence the development of streaming services and artist promotion strategies for years to come. Independent musicians found MySpace particularly valuable because it provided them with tools that had previously been available only to major record labels: the ability to distribute music, connect with fans, and build audiences across geographical boundaries. Many successful bands, including Arctic Monkeys and Lily Allen, built their initial fan bases through MySpace before achieving mainstream success. The platform democratized music promotion in a way that was unprecedented and empowering for artists. MySpace became the soundtrack of the mid-2000s, where breakthrough artists found their first audiences and established musicians like Madonna and Justin Timberlake connected directly with fans. The platform's music player, which automatically started when someone visited a profile, created a unique browsing experience where each profile had its own theme song. This audio-visual combination made MySpace profiles feel more immersive and personal than text-based social networks. The concept of top friends, where users could publicly rank their most important relationships, became a source of both joy and social anxiety. This feature gamified friendship in a way that was both engaging and occasionally problematic, teaching important lessons about the psychological impact of public social rankings. The drama surrounding top friends placement became legendary among early social media users, with friends negotiating their positions and relationships sometimes suffering when someone was removed from a top 8 list. MySpace comment system allowed friends to leave public messages on each other's profiles, creating a form of social validation and communication that was visible to all visitors. These comment walls became spaces for inside jokes, public displays of affection, and creative expression through graphics and text art. Friends would often compete to leave the most creative or heartfelt comments, turning profile walls into collaborative works of art and affection. The platform's relaxed content policies and alternative aesthetic attracted users who felt constrained by more formal social networks. MySpace became associated with youth culture, music, and creative expression, creating a vibrant community that felt authentic and rebellious compared to the sanitized corporate web. The platform's tolerance for creative expression and alternative lifestyles made it a haven for artists, musicians, and young people who were exploring their identity and creative potential. In February 2004, in a Harvard University dormitory room filled with the quiet energy of late-night coding sessions and the gentle glow of multiple computer monitors, Mark Zuckerberg launched the Facebook, a platform that would eventually connect more than a quarter of the world's population and fundamentally change how humans interact with technology and each other. Initially exclusive to college students with valid edu email addresses, Facebook felt like a digital extension of campus life, complete with photo albums, status updates, and the ability to connect with classmates and friends in ways that felt both familiar and revolutionary. Mark Zuckerberg, a sophomore computer science student at Harvard, was motivated by his observations of social dynamics on college campuses and his belief that technology could enhance human connections rather than replace them. He had previously created other social applications, including FaceMash, which had gotten him into trouble with university administrators. The Facebook was his attempt to create something more constructive and positive that would genuinely serve the social needs of college students. The gentle exclusivity of early Facebook made it feel special and intimate, like membership in an exclusive club that happened to span hundreds of college campuses. Students had to have a university email address to join, creating a sense of community and belonging that was both nostalgic and forward-looking. This exclusivity also ensured that early users were generally well-behaved and engaged, as their real identities were tied to their academic institutions and social reputations. The clean, blue and white design gave Facebook a timeless quality that would serve it well as it expanded beyond university campuses. The interface was intuitive and uncluttered, focusing attention on content and connections rather than flashy graphics or complex navigation. This design philosophy reflected Zuckerberg's belief that the platform should be a utility for connection rather than an entertainment destination. The simplicity and elegance of the design made Facebook feel trustworthy and professional compared to the more chaotic aesthetic of other social platforms. Facebook's profile system was revolutionary in its comprehensive approach to identity. Unlike other platforms that focused on specific aspects of personality or interests, Facebook profiles attempted to capture the full complexity of a person's identity, educational background, work history, relationship status, interests, and personal philosophy. The profile became a digital representation of the whole person rather than just their online persona, encouraging users to present authentic rather than idealized versions of themselves. The platform's relationship status feature became culturally significant, creating new social rituals around declaring and changing romantic relationships. The phrase Facebook official entered the lexicon to describe relationships that had been publicly acknowledged on the platform. This feature demonstrated how social media could create new social norms and expectations around personal relationships and public disclosure. The platform's photo-sharing capabilities transformed how people documented and shared their lives. Digital cameras were becoming more affordable and accessible, and Facebook provided an easy way to share photos with friends and family. No longer were photo albums physical objects stored in closets and brought out for special occasions. They became digital galleries that friends could browse and comment on from anywhere in the world. The ability to tag friends in photos created new forms of social interaction and memory sharing. The simple act of tagging friends in photos created new forms of connection and shared memory. Friends could discover photos of themselves that others had taken, creating a collaborative approach to memory keeping that hadn't existed before. Photo tags became a form of social notification, alerting people when they appeared in others' digital memories. This collaborative documentation of life experiences strengthened social bonds and created shared narratives around important events and everyday moments. Facebook's wall feature allowed friends to post public messages on each other's profiles, creating a form of social interaction that was visible to mutual friends. These wall posts became a way to maintain social connections, share inside jokes, and publicly demonstrate friendship. The wall became a space for birthday wishes, congratulations, and casual social interaction that helped maintain relationships between in-person meetings. The platform's poke feature, a simple way to get someone's attention without sending a message, became an iconic element of early Facebook culture. Though seemingly trivial, the poke represented the platform's understanding that social interaction doesn't always require substantive content. Sometimes a simple acknowledgement of someone's presence is enough to maintain a connection. The poke feature demonstrated Facebook's attention to the subtle nuances of human social behavior. Facebook's groups feature allowed users to create communities around shared interests, causes, or affiliations. These groups ranged from study groups for specific classes to fan communities for bands, movies, and television shows. The group's feature demonstrated how social media could facilitate both intimate connections with close friends and broader community involvement with like-minded individuals. Many users found that Facebook groups helped them discover new interests and connect with people they might never have met otherwise. Facebook's news feed, introduced in September 2006, revolutionized how people consumed information about their friends and connections. Like a gentle stream of updates flowing past a comfortable reading chair, the newsfeed made it easy to stay connected with multiple friends without having to visit each profile individually. Though initially met with some resistance from users who were concerned about privacy and information overload, the news feed would become the template for how we experience social media today. The news feed algorithm attempted to show users the most relevant and interesting updates from their network, rather than simply displaying everything chronologically. This curatorial approach helped manage information overload as users' networks grew larger, but it also introduced the concept of algorithmic mediation in social relationships, the idea that a computer program would decide which of your friends' updates you would see. This algorithmic curation would become increasingly sophisticated and influential in shaping how users experience their social networks. Initially, many users were concerned about the privacy implications of the news feed, feeling that it made their activity on the platform too visible to their friends. Facebook responded by introducing privacy controls that allowed users to limit who could see their updates and activity. This early controversy taught important lessons about the need to balance social sharing with privacy protection, lessons that would become increasingly important as social media platforms evolved. The platform's status update feature allowed users to share their current thoughts, activities, or feelings with their entire network. Originally prompted with "What's on your mind?", the status update became a new form of personal broadcasting that was more casual than blog posts but more substantial than instant messages. Status updates created a running commentary on users' lives that friends could follow and respond to, creating ongoing conversations and connections. Status updates evolved from simple activity reports, "John is studying for finals," to more complex expressions of personality, humor, and opinion. Users learned to craft status updates that would generate engagement from their friends, leading to the development of an informal social media voice that was conversational, authentic, and engaging. The status update became a new form of creative expression that millions of people practice daily. Facebook's messaging system combined the permanence of email with the immediacy of instant messaging. Friends could send private messages that would be delivered whether the recipient was online or offline, creating a reliable communication channel that didn't depend on both parties being available simultaneously. This asynchronous communication became essential for maintaining relationships across different time zones and schedules. As Facebook opened its doors to non-students in late 2006, it maintained its friendly, community-oriented atmosphere while growing to accommodate people of all ages and backgrounds. The platform became a bridge between generations, allowing families to stay connected across distances and life changes that might otherwise create separation. Grandparents could see photos of grandchildren, college friends could maintain relationships despite career relocations, and extended families could coordinate gatherings and share news. The platform's real name policy, which required users to register with their authentic identities, created a level of accountability that distinguished Facebook from more anonymous platforms. This policy encouraged civil discourse and authentic relationships, though it would later become controversial as it sometimes conflicted with users' privacy and safety needs. The real name policy reflected Facebook's belief that authentic identity was essential for meaningful social connections. Facebook's introduction of the like button in 2009 created a simple but powerful way for users to express approval, agreement, or acknowledgement without having to compose a comment. The like button became one of the most recognizable interface elements in digital history, spawning countless imitations and variations across other platforms. The simplicity of the like button made social interaction more efficient while still providing meaningful feedback to content creators. The psychological impact of the like button was significant and complex. Users began creating content with the expectation of receiving likes, and the number of likes a post received became a form of social validation. This gamification of social approval had both positive effects, encouraging creativity and social connection, and negative effects, creating anxiety and social pressure. The like button became a symbol of how social media could quantify and commodify human relationships and approval. The success of Facebook opened the floodgates for social media innovation, inspiring entrepreneurs and developers around the world to create platforms that cater to specific needs, communities, and communication styles. Each new platform added different dimensions to the social media landscape, exploring unique approaches to human connection and content sharing. This period saw the emergence of platforms that would define how we think about video sharing, microblogging, professional networking, and visual communication. The democratization of broadband internet access and the increasing affordability of digital cameras and camcorders made it possible for ordinary users to create and share high-quality content. The tools of media production, which had once been available only to professionals, were now accessible to anyone with creativity and dedication. This technological democratization would fuel an explosion of user-generated content that would transform entertainment, education, and communication. YouTube, founded in February 2005 by Chad Hurley, Steve Chen, and Jawed Karim, transformed everyone into potential broadcasters and created the foundation for today's creator economy. The platform's tagline, "Broadcast yourself," captured the democratic spirit of early social media, the idea that everyone had something interesting to share, whether it was a funny video of a cat, a tutorial on changing a car's oil, or a personal vlog about daily life. The three founders had previously worked at PayPal and understood both the technical challenges of video sharing and the social possibilities of user-generated content. They created YouTube after struggling to share videos from a dinner party, recognizing that existing platforms made video sharing too complicated for average users. Their solution was elegantly simple, a platform that made uploading, sharing, and viewing videos as easy as possible. The first YouTube video, Me at the Zoo, uploaded by co-founder Jawed Karim on April 23, 2005, was refreshingly simple and authentic. The 18-second clip showed Karim at the San Diego Zoo, making casual observations about elephants. This unpolished, spontaneous content set the tone for a platform that would become home to billions of hours of user-generated content ranging from professional productions to intimate personal moments. YouTube's comment system created communities around shared interests in specific videos or channels. Viewers could discuss content, ask questions, and build relationships with other fans. The platform's rating system allowed the community to surface the best content through likes and dislikes, creating a democratic approach to content curation that was both powerful and sometimes controversial. These community features transformed passive video consumption into active social participation. The platform's partnership program, introduced in 2007, allowed content creators to earn money from advertisements displayed alongside their videos. This monetization opportunity transformed YouTube from a hobby platform into a potential career path, leading to the emergence of professional YouTubers who built substantial businesses around content creation. The partnership program democratized media production by allowing creators to earn revenue directly from their audiences without traditional media gatekeepers. YouTube's global reach made it possible for creators to find international audiences for niche content that might never have found viewers through traditional media channels. Educational channels could teach specialized skills to learners around the world. Musicians could showcase their talents without record label support. Comedians could build audiences without television appearances. This global distribution capability leveled the playing field between individual creators and large media corporations. The platform became a repository of human knowledge and culture, with users uploading everything from historical footage and educational lectures to music performances and comedy sketches. YouTube preserved and democratized access to cultural content that might otherwise have been lost or remained accessible only to small audiences. The platform became a digital library of human creativity and knowledge that was searchable and freely accessible. Twitter emerged in March 2006 with a deceptively simple premise that would prove revolutionary: "What are you doing right now?" in 140 characters or less. Created by Jack Dorsey, Noah Glass, Biz Stone, and Evan Williams, Twitter felt like a gentle stream of consciousness from friends and strangers around the world, offering glimpses into the thoughts and experiences of millions of people in real time. Jack Dorsey conceived of Twitter as a way to share short status updates with friends, inspired by the brief status messages used in instant messaging programs. The 140-character limit was borrowed from SMS text messaging constraints, but this technical limitation became one of Twitter's defining features. The constraint forced users to distill their thoughts into concise, focused messages, encouraging creativity and precision in communication. The platform's character limit forced users to distill their thoughts into concise, focused messages. This constraint encouraged creativity, wit, and careful word choice, leading to new forms of digital literature and humor. The brevity of tweets made the platform ideal for quick updates, breaking news, and rapid exchanges of ideas. Users developed techniques for communicating complex ideas within the character limit, including the use of abbreviations, links, and threaded conversations. Twitter's @mention system allowed users to direct messages to specific people while still sharing them publicly, creating a form of social conversation that others could observe and join. This transparency in communication was both engaging and sometimes problematic, as private conversations played out in public spaces. The @mention system created a new form of public dialogue that was more democratic and accessible than traditional media discussions. The hashtag, originally suggested by user Chris Messina in August 2007 as a way to group conversations, became a powerful tool for organizing movements, sharing experiences, and connecting people around common interests. What began as a simple organizational feature evolved into a new form of human expression, allowing complex ideas and emotions to be categorized and discovered by others who shared similar thoughts or experiences. Hashtags enabled the formation of temporary communities around events, causes, and shared experiences. During natural disasters, hashtags helped coordinate relief efforts and share information. During social movements, hashtags amplified marginalized voices and organized collective action. During entertainment events, hashtags created shared viewing experiences that connected audiences across geographical boundaries. Twitter's real-time nature made it an ideal platform for live commentary on events, from sports games and television shows to political debates and natural disasters. The platform became a global conversation space where millions of people could share reactions and insights simultaneously. This real-time discussion capability made Twitter particularly valuable during breaking news events and live entertainment. The platform's retweet function, formalized in 2009, created a powerful mechanism for information sharing that could amplify messages far beyond their original audience. Retweets allowed users to share content from others while adding their own commentary, creating layers of conversation and interpretation around original messages. The retweet function demonstrated how social media could accelerate information spread and create viral content phenomena. Twitter's influence on journalism and news consumption was profound. The platform became a source of breaking news, with eyewitnesses sharing real-time updates from events around the world. Journalists began using Twitter to share stories, gather sources, and engage with their audiences. The platform's real-time nature and global reach made it an essential tool for news gathering and distribution. Flickr, launched in 2004 by Stuart Butterfield and Katerina Fake, and later acquired by Yahoo in 2005, became the premier destination for photography enthusiasts and casual photographers alike. The platform's emphasis on high-quality images and community feedback created a supportive environment where photographers could improve their skills and share their unique perspectives on the world. Stuart Butterfield and Katerina Fake initially created Flickr as part of a larger online gaming project, but they recognized that the photo-sharing component was more compelling than the game itself. They focused on creating the best possible experience for sharing and organizing digital photos, at a time when most people were still storing their digital photos on their computers without easy ways to share them online. Flickr's tagging system allowed users to categorize their photos with descriptive keywords, making it easier for others to discover images related to specific subjects or themes. This folksonomy approach to organization created a rich, searchable database of human visual experience that was both personally meaningful and collectively valuable. Users could search for photos of specific places, events, or subjects and discover perspectives from photographers around the world. The platform's groups feature allowed photographers with shared interests to come together in focused communities. Whether they were interested in macro photography, urban exploration, vintage cameras, or specific geographic locations, users could find others who shared their passions and learn from their experiences and techniques. These photography communities became sources of education, inspiration, and friendship that extended beyond the digital realm. Flickr's comment and favorite systems provided mechanisms for community feedback and recognition. Photographers could receive constructive criticism, encouragement, and technical advice from peers, creating a collaborative learning environment that helped users improve their craft. The favorite system allowed users to curate collections of images they found particularly inspiring or technically impressive. The platform's Creative Commons integration made it easy for photographers to share their work under flexible copyright licenses, enabling others to use their images for educational, artistic, or commercial purposes with proper attribution. This approach supported a culture of sharing and collaboration that benefited creators, educators, and the broader creative community. Flickr became a valuable source of freely available images for websites, presentations, and educational materials. Flickr's professional accounts offered advanced features like detailed statistics, ad-free browsing, and increased storage capacity, creating a sustainable business model that supported serious photographers while keeping basic features free for casual users. The platform's respect for photographers' rights and needs helped establish it as the premier platform for photography communities. The platform's Explore feature showcased exceptional photography selected by Flickr's algorithms and community engagement metrics. Being featured in Flickr's Explore section became a significant achievement for photographers, providing exposure to larger audiences and recognition within the photography community. The Explore feature helped surface high-quality content and inspired users to improve their photography skills. As internet speeds improved and smartphones with high-quality cameras became ubiquitous, social media began to shift toward visual content. This transformation reflected humanity's ancient love of storytelling through images, now enhanced by digital technology and global connectivity. The platforms that emerged during this era understood that images could convey emotion, information, and experience in ways that text alone could not match. The proliferation of smartphones with built-in cameras meant that millions of people always had a high-quality camera in their pocket. This constant access to photography tools transformed how people documented their lives and shared experiences. The friction between experiencing a moment and sharing it online decreased dramatically, leading to more spontaneous and authentic content sharing. Instagram, launched in October 2010 by Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger, captured this visual shift perfectly with its elegant simplicity and focus on photographic beauty. With its square photo format reminiscent of classic Polaroid cameras and its carefully designed array of filters that could make any snapshot look artistic, Instagram democratized photography in a way that was both nostalgic and thoroughly modern. Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger understood that mobile photography needed tools to help users create compelling images quickly and easily. They recognized that most people weren't professional photographers, but everyone had moments in their lives worth sharing. Instagram's filters and editing tools bridged the gap between casual snapshots and artistic photography, making every user feel like a capable photographer. The platform's filters were perhaps its most revolutionary feature, allowing users to apply professional-looking effects to their photos with a single tap. Filters like Nashville, Valencia, and X Pro 2 became signatures of the Instagram aesthetic, creating a shared visual language that was instantly recognizable. These filters didn't just enhance photos, they helped establish photography as a form of personal expression accessible to everyone, regardless of their technical knowledge or artistic training. The simple double tap to like a photo became one of the most intuitive interactions in social media history, creating a frictionless way for users to express appreciation and support for others' content. This elegant interaction design made engagement feel natural and effortless, encouraging positive feedback and community building. The like mechanism provided immediate gratification for content creators while creating a feedback loop that encouraged continued sharing. Instagram's emphasis on visual beauty created a more aspirational form of social media, where everyday moments could be transformed into art through careful composition, lighting, and filtering. The platform encouraged users to find beauty in ordinary experiences, from morning coffee and sunset walks to street art and architectural details. This focus on aesthetic appreciation elevated the mundane into the memorable and encouraged users to see their daily lives as worthy of documentation and sharing. The platform's hashtag system, adapted from Twitter, allowed users to categorize their photos and discover content related to their interests. Photography communities formed around hashtags like #streetphotography, #foodie, #architecture, and #sunset, creating ways for users to connect over shared visual interests and participate in larger conversations. Hashtags became a form of visual categorization that helped users find inspiration and connect with like-minded creators. Instagram's user profiles became curated galleries that represented users' aesthetic sensibilities and life experiences. Unlike other social platforms that focused on real-time updates or comprehensive identity representation, Instagram profiles were carefully crafted visual narratives that told stories through collections of images. Users began thinking about their profiles as cohesive artistic statements, considering how individual posts would contribute to their overall visual brand. The platform's influence on visual culture extended far beyond social media, affecting advertising, journalism, art, and commerce. The Instagram aesthetic became a recognizable style characterized by bright colors, carefully composed shots, and aspirational lifestyle content. Restaurants began designing their dishes and spaces with Instagram sharing in mind. Fashion brands adopted Instagram's visual language in their marketing campaigns. Museums created Instagram-friendly exhibits that encouraged social sharing. Instagram Stories, launched in August 2016, introduced the concept of ephemeral content that would disappear after 24 hours. This temporary format encouraged more spontaneous and authentic sharing, as users felt less pressure to create perfect, permanent posts. Stories became a space for behind-the-scenes content, casual updates, and experimental creativity that didn't need to fit the aesthetic standards of the main feed. The Stories format allowed users to share multiple photos and videos in a sequence, creating narrative possibilities that weren't available in single posts. Users could document entire experiences, from getting ready for an event to exploring a new city, creating immersive storytelling experiences for their followers. The sequential nature of stories encouraged more comprehensive documentation and sharing of life experiences. Pinterest, founded in March 2010 by Ben Silbermann, Paul Sciarra, and Evan Sharp, took a different approach to visual sharing that emphasized curation, planning, and inspiration. Inspired by the concept of pinning items to a bulletin board, Pinterest allowed users to create collections of images that represented their interests, aspirations, and dreams. Ben Silbermann, the CEO and co-founder, envisioned Pinterest as a tool for people to catalog the things they found meaningful and inspiring. Unlike other social platforms that focused on communication or self-expression, Pinterest was designed as a utility for organizing and discovering ideas. The platform recognized that people naturally collected things they found interesting or useful, and it provided digital tools to support this fundamental human behavior. The platform became a digital vision board where people could organize everything from wedding planning and home decoration ideas to travel destinations and fashion inspiration. Pinterest's unique approach to content organization made it particularly valuable for users who were planning major life events or exploring new interests and hobbies. The platform served practical purposes that other social networks didn't address, making it an essential tool for many users' daily lives. The peaceful, organized nature of Pinterest attracted users who appreciated careful curation and long-term planning. Unlike the real-time nature of Twitter or the social aspects of Facebook, Pinterest felt like a quiet library where people could browse and collect ideas at their own pace, without pressure for immediate social interaction. This contemplative approach to content consumption created a less stressful and more purposeful social media experience. Pinterest's board system allowed users to organize their interests into distinct categories, creating personalized collections that reflected their multifaceted personalities and evolving interests. Users could have boards for dream kitchen, travel inspiration, fashion ideas, home office, garden design, and countless other themes, building comprehensive libraries of visual inspiration that served as references for future projects and purchases. The platform's emphasis on usefulness and practical inspiration made it particularly popular for planning life events, decorating homes, and exploring new hobbies. Pinterest became an essential tool for wedding planning, home renovation, recipe collection, and fashion inspiration, demonstrating how social media could serve practical as well as social purposes. Many users reported that Pinterest helped them discover new interests and develop skills they might never have explored otherwise. Pinterest's business model, based on promoted pins and shopping features, aligned naturally with the platform's function as a discovery and planning tool. Users were often in a mindset to make purchases or plan activities, making advertising feel more like helpful suggestions than intrusive promotions. This alignment between user intent and advertising content created a more positive experience for both users and advertisers. The platform's influence on e-commerce was significant, as many users discovered products and brands through Pinterest boards and pins. Retailers began optimizing their content for Pinterest sharing, creating visually appealing product images and lifestyle photography that would perform well on the platform. Pinterest became a major driver of website traffic for many e-commerce sites, particularly in categories like home decor, fashion, and food. Snapchat, introduced in September 2011 by Evan Spiegel, Bobby Murphy, and Reggie Brown, brought an entirely new concept to social media: temporary content that would automatically disappear after being viewed. The app's messages and photos vanished after a few seconds, creating a sense of spontaneity and authenticity that was refreshing in an increasingly curated social media landscape. Evan Spiegel, who conceived the idea while studying at Stanford University, was motivated by concerns about the permanence of digital content and its potential impact on personal relationships and self-expression. He recognized that the permanent nature of most social media posts created pressure for users to present idealized versions of themselves, limiting authentic communication and spontaneous sharing. Snapchat felt like passing notes in class or sharing secret messages, intimate, temporary, and genuine. The platform's ephemeral nature encouraged users to share more casual, unpolished content, knowing that their posts wouldn't become part of their permanent digital record. This temporality created a more relaxed atmosphere where users felt free to be silly, vulnerable, or experimental without worrying about long-term consequences. The platform's innovative interface, which used simple gestures like swiping and tapping to navigate between features, felt natural and intuitive on mobile devices. Snapchat was designed specifically for smartphones, taking advantage of touchscreen capabilities and mobile-specific features like front-facing cameras and location services. This mobile-first approach influenced the design of many subsequent social media platforms. Snapchat's playful filters and augmented reality features added an element of whimsy that appealed particularly to younger users. The platform's face filters could transform users into animals, add virtual accessories, or alter their appearance in creative ways. These filters demonstrated the creative possibilities of augmented reality technology while making the photo-sharing experience more entertaining and engaging. The platform's streak feature, which tracked consecutive days of communication between friends, gamified friendship maintenance in a way that was both engaging and sometimes stressful. Snapchat streaks became important social rituals for many users, particularly teenagers, who would go to great lengths to maintain long streaks with their friends. This feature demonstrated how social media could create new forms of social obligation and connection. Snapchat's Discover feature, launched in 2015, provided a platform for media companies and publishers to share content specifically designed for mobile consumption. The feature demonstrated how traditional media organizations could adapt their content for social media platforms while reaching younger audiences who were increasingly consuming news and entertainment through social apps rather than traditional media channels. As we reach the end of our gentle journey through the history of social media, let us rest in the knowledge that this story is far from over. Each platform we've explored, from the earliest bulletin board systems to the sophisticated networks of today, represents humanity's enduring desire to connect, share, and build communities across any distance. The innovations we've witnessed, from the first email sent across ARPANET to the ephemeral stories that disappear after viewing, all serve the same fundamental human need: the desire to be known, understood, and connected to others. Technology has simply provided new tools for this ancient human impulse, tools that continue to evolve and improve with each passing year. As you drift into peaceful sleep, remember that you are part of this continuing story. Every message you send, every photo you share, every connection you make adds another thread to the vast tapestry of human digital connection. The future of social media will be shaped by millions of individual choices to reach out, to share authentically, and to build communities that support and nurture human flourishing. Sleep well, knowing that tomorrow will bring new opportunities for connection, creativity, and community in the ever-expanding digital landscape of human relationship. The gentle revolution of social media continues, one authentic interaction at a time.